At City Hall, my pregnancy test stick accidentally fell out of my pocket. My soon-to-be ex-husband saw it and asked in a panic, "You don't have COVID, do you?" I instinctively replied, "It's a pregnancy test." My husband nodded, relieved. Then he pulled out his ID, and suddenly, it hit him. "Holy shit, you're pregnant?" My hand, which was about to pull out my own ID, froze and shot back as if I'd been zapped. Then I gave him an uncertain nod. Gavin was completely floored. Dazed, he immediately demanded, "Whose is it?" I silently pushed his hand down. "Yeah, right. After all the trouble I went through to get us to the point of divorce, I could finally run off with the baby in peace. No way was I going to tell him it was his." The clerk handling the divorce paperwork chimed in with a cheerful smile, "Oh, come on, young man. It's your wife. Whose else would it be? Your wife is pregnant, what are you getting divorced for?" "Huh. Go on, make up with her." Gavin looked like he was about to burst into tears of joy, but then he just burst into tears. "I've never even touched her. Not since we got married, I haven't laid a single finger on her." "You're telling me she's pregnant? How the hell is she pregnant?" Gavin cried, shaking the poor clerk's shoulders. The clerk's smile froze on her face. The person in line next to me did one better and sprayed a mouthful of water all over my face. I quickly wiped my face and rushed forward to stop the lunatic Gavin. "Gavin, can you please not do this? Let's just get the divorce over with." Gavin stared at me blankly, his eyes red, looking for all the world like a wronged housewife. Oh, wait. He was wronged. He asked me in a daze, "You cheated on me without a moment's hesitation, and now you're telling me to calm down?" Gavin started crying again, his lips trembling. "You can't do this to me, it's just bullying. I've been so good to you, I even agreed to the divorce, and you still cheat on me?" I pursed my lips, put my ID away, and quickly grabbed Gavin to make a run for it. God, this was beyond humiliating. Divorce or dignity? Dignity was definitely more important. I quickly hailed a rideshare and pushed Gavin inside. "You're paying for this." Gavin turned to glare at me, his mouth hanging open in fury. I just looked down my nose at him. The driver glanced at us in the rearview mirror and joked, "What's up? Little lovers quarrel? She's pregnant. The kid's not mine." A heavy silence fell over the car. The driver's face stiffened, and he had nothing more to say. The result was, the divorce didn't happen, and I had to keep looking at Gavin's pitiful, wronged face every day. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the collar of his black shirt and pulled him close. "Gavin, stop looking at me like that. I didn't do anything to you." Gavin ignored me, turning his head away to continue his pity party. I sighed in frustration. "Gavin, I'll be honest. This baby is yours." It took a lot of courage for me to say that. Gavin's mouth dropped open in disbelief. "Really?" I was just about to nod. Then he immediately spat out, "I don't believe you." I was so pissed I seriously wanted to punch this dumbass into next week. Just as I grabbed a nearby Power Ranger's sword, ready for a fight to the death with Gavin. Gavin's grandma called me. I chucked the sword at Gavin and answered the phone with a huge smile. "Grandma. No, we didn't get divorced. We're getting along great, don't listen to Gavin's nonsense. Don't you worry." Okay. I hung up and was surprised to see the tall figure beside me had vanished. Usually, when his grandma called, he'd stick by my side and start messing with me, either by tickling me or pinching my nose. I called his name a couple of times and heard nothing, so I quickly got out of bed to check. And there was Gavin, half dead on the floor from being hit by the Power Ranger's sword. I jumped out of bed in horror. "Holy crap, Gavin, you're that weak? Can't you hang on a little longer? Don't die so soon, what am I supposed to do with the baby in my belly?" Gavin weakly raised a hand. "Even if I die, I'm not raising another man's kid." And also, call. Gavin's hand dropped mid-sentence. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. I silently prayed, Gavin, you better not die. Please, please don't die. At the hospital, the doctor said, it's nothing serious, just a mild concussion. He'll be fine after a couple of days of rest. I took the report and nodded in relief. Back in the hospital room, I saw Gavin lying still, staring at the ceiling, his mouth moving up and down, though I couldn't tell what he was saying. When he saw me, he kept up his half-dead act. Do you still have your Power Ranger sword? Threw it out, I said, guiltily taking a step back. Do you still have your Power Ranger sword? I threw it out, I mumbled, feeling guilty. I really don't get it. Why would a woman like you keep a 10-pound sword in the house? You said it was for self-defense against creeps. I get it now. I'm the creep in your eyes, aren't I? I scratched my head. I'm sorry, okay? I threw out everything Power Rangers related in the house. Gavin gave a lifeless oh. The room fell silent. Want an apple? No. Do you? Don't want it. I frowned, extremely annoyed. Dumbass. King of killing the mood. I decided to just pull back the blanket and lie down next to him. But as if he knew exactly what I was about to do, Gavin clutched the blanket tightly, refusing to let me in. Gavin and I launched into a fierce battle. Why are you holding on so tight? I'm not going to eat you, I just want to sleep. Gavin suddenly threw the blanket open, and I lost my balance, tumbling onto the hospital bed. Staring at Gavin's handsome face, I swallowed hard. The room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop, or in this case, a drop of drool. Thump thump. Thump thump. The next second, Gavin had me trapped under the covers, smothering me. MMPH. MMPH. Gavin, you've done it now. Just you wait, you're about to be responsible for 2 deaths. I'm carrying your child. You heartless bastard. MMPH, MMPH. I never touched you, you idiot. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Gavin hung his head, looking remarkably obedient. So, how did I manage to turn the tables on Gavin in under 10 seconds? First, you need a stun baton. I had pulled the baton from my sleeve and extended it with a zap, which scared the hell out of Gavin. Good, as long as you know you're wrong. I tapped Gavin's head with the baton. Whose baby is this? Gavin rubbed the spot where I'd tapped him, hesitated for a long time, and then said, you know what? You might as well just kill me. I, Gavin, would rather die than raise another man's kid. I gave him a smile that didn't reach my eyes. So you won't claim him, huh? Fine. Heh. When the baby's born, you don't have to acknowledge him either. Wait, why should I be the one to suffer? And you won't even get to see him. I'm going to get an abortion right now. Then I thought again. Why should I be the one to put my body through that, and not him? Wait, that's not right either. My original plan was to get pregnant with Gavin's baby and then enact my run-off with the baby scheme. It was all Gavin's fault for messing with my train of thought. Gavin, let's just get a divorce. Gavin slumped on the bed, looking indifferent. Oh. Fiona, have you thought this through? Gavin looked up at me. You'll have to pay me a huge amount for cheating, plus my medical bills and my lost wages. I've thought it through, I said with a smile. 2 people like us, so in love, should grow old together and never part. Honey, you're so handsome. After Gavin got out of the hospital, I went back to vegging out at home. The divorce didn't go through. Although Gavin and I were a good match on paper, I'd seen how ruthless he could be. If he decided to extort me, he'd clean me out completely. The family assets were split in 2, 1 part for me, 1 for my brother, Ryan. But my assets were managed by my brother, so I probably didn't have that much liquid cash. Gavin, peel me an apple. I lay in bed playing on my phone, ordering Gavin around like he was my personal servant. I'm working, don't bother me. Gavin said impatiently. It's not me who wants it, it's my baby. Gavin covered his mouth. Fiona, I've accepted that you cheated on me, but now you want me to wait on this kid too? I fell silent, a pang of guilt hitting me. Wait a minute, this kid is his. I almost let him sidetrack me again. Gavin, this baby is really yours. Don't. Leave. You. Gavin said in the most punchable tone imaginable. Fine, Gavin. Just you wait. I'm going out to find a dog right now. I nodded furiously, put on my shoes, and headed for the door. You dare. Gavin scrambled to block my way. Fine, I won't go out. Gavin breathed a sigh of relief. I immediately opened the bedroom window and jumped out. Our house was a single story, so it was no big deal to jump. But now it was Gavin's turn to be furious. You're pregnant. What kind of idiot is going to want you now? I flipped Gavin the bird. Not only will a dog want me, I'm gonna bring it home. Do you admit it or not? I pointed at my stomach, questioning Gavin. Gavin's eyes drooped. You get the Tibetan Mastiff away from me. And don't you dare act so cocky anymore, you hear me? Cutie, the Mastiff, barked twice in agreement. Woof. Woof. Gavin flinched backward, pouting. Oh. Then he muttered under his breath, who knew you'd bring back this kind of dog? His voice was filled with grievance. Huh? What did you say, Gavin? Gavin pouted. Nothing. We're having dog for dinner tonight. The moment Cutie heard the word dog, he went into attack mode. Woof. 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 And so, the man and the dog fought their way from the first floor to the second, and from the second floor to the third. The day after getting out of the hospital, Gavin was back in the hospital. Yep. For a rabies shot. Gavin glared at me darkly. Fiona, when we're both old and paralyzed in hospital beds, spitting at each other, are you going to have any regrets? I scratched my head. I think it's highly unlikely we'll be in the same room. Gavin. I sat next to Gavin, silently peeling an apple. When I was done, I silently brought it to my own mouth. I looked up and met Gavin's expectant gaze. He glanced at me, snorted coldly, and turned his head away. I sighed helplessly. Gavin, let me ask you. If you hadn't been such a jackass back then, would you be in this situation? Gavin turned his head and shot me a glare. If I hadn't been a jackass back then, I wouldn't have married. He stopped abruptly. What? I gave him a puzzled look. Nothing. I sighed again. Honestly, saying you're going to eat dog meat right in front of the dog. You deserve to get bitten. Sigh. I shook my head, stood up, and clasped my hands behind my back, preparing to leave the hospital. Gavin called out, Fiona, where are you going? I turned and raised an eyebrow. Out to find a car to run myself over. You want to come? That might not be a good idea. Never mind. Gavin silently lowered the blanket he had just lifted in preparation to chase after me. After leaving the hospital, I found a restaurant to eat at and picked up some chicken soup for Gavin. After I finished eating, I was about to leave when I realized it had started to rain lightly outside. I stood at the restaurant entrance for a moment and started doing some super brain calculations. Okay, my walking speed is about 3 feet per second. The restaurant is about 440 yards from the hospital. If I double my speed to 6 feet per second, I can reach the hospital in under 250 seconds, which is just over 4 minutes. And by the looks of it, this rain won't get heavy for at least 5 minutes. Conclusion, go for it before it really starts pouring. I ran into the hospital room and pulled the chicken soup out from under my coat for Gavin. Gavin didn't even look up from scrolling through TikTok. I thought you were dead. I used an extra life. You want the chicken soup or not? Gavin looked at me warily. Fiona, you're being this nice? You didn't put some kind of hormone in here to turn me into a woman, did you? I gave him a disgusted look. Keep talking and I'll make you a woman in the most literal sense. Gavin shut up and took the chicken soup, sipping it cautiously. Gavin was in the hospital for several more days. You couldn't say he was just bitten, he was nearly mauled into paralysis. After I got pregnant, Gavin and I spent our days tormenting each other. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore and came to me. He started pleading earnestly, Fiona, as the saying goes, one day as a couple means 100 days of kindness. Me, when disaster strikes, we fly our separate ways. Gavin, annoyed, how could you? Don't try to win me over by acting cute. And if you bother me again, I'll kill you. Gavin shut his mouth. After a moment of silence from both of us, he spoke again. If you keep tormenting me like this, I feel like I'm not long for this world. Oh. I replied nonchalantly, munching on chips. Gavin was furious. I hate detached women like you the most. With that, Gavin stomped his foot and ran out of my bedroom, a trail of tears in his wake. My conscience suddenly pricked me. Gavin did seem a bit pathetic. But I was in the middle of a show. Oh well, whatever. I woke up from a nap and was about to get something from the fridge when I saw Gavin walk past me, cuddling a small hamster. When he saw me, he snorted, turned his head, and went back to his bedroom. Ugh, my conscience is starving. I need to eat something, quick. Mrs. Peterson, can you make me something to eat? I'm starving, I called towards the kitchen. Mrs. Peterson agreed and started bustling around in the kitchen. When Cutie saw me, he ran over, tail wagging. Woof. 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 I picked Cutie up and snuggled my face into his fur. Gavin suddenly walked past me again, still holding the hamster, and shot me another cold snort. Seriously, what is his problem? I ignored Gavin and went back to my room with Cutie. After playing with Cutie for a while, Gavin walked past my door again, holding the hamster, and snorted. The hamster snorted at me too. Hold on, this is my fucking bedroom. I kicked both him and the hamster out. Mrs. Peterson finished cooking and came to call me. Ma'am, dinner is ready. Coming, Mrs. Peterson. Thanks. I put on my shoes and walked to the dining table, where I saw Gavin was also present. Gavin saw me and, yet again, let out a cold snort. My face was a wooden mask. Gavin spoke first. If you apologize to me right now, I can grudgingly forgive you. I elegantly cut my steak. Stop pretending. You usually swallow 2 pieces at once. Guess why I'm not talking to you? Gavin fell silent. The next morning, I woke up to the sight of the corpse of the hamster Gavin was holding yesterday. It was mauled and lifeless. Then I saw the blood on the corner of Cutie's mouth. I felt a strange, no, a very distinct sense of panic. Just then, a sleepy Gavin came downstairs for breakfast. Seeing me leaning against the doorway, he frowned in confusion. Fiona, what's wrong with you? Blocking the door like that? Don't tell me the guy who knocked you up is in there? I shook my head frantically. It's nothing, Gavin. Hurry up and eat. Didn't you tell me to apologize yesterday? How about I get on my knees and beg? The more I acted this way, the more Gavin wanted to go inside. I was no match for his strength, and Gavin got in. Ah. My little hamster. Hammy, why did you have to die so horribly? You died so tragically, my poor little Hammy. I stood to the side, not knowing whether to comfort him, cry with him, squat, or stand. Tell me who did it. Who? I'll get revenge for you. Hammy. Was it you? Gavin pointed at Cutie, who just licked the blood from his mouth. Gavin screamed. I went over to console him. Hey. Every hamster has its destiny. There's no need to be so sad. Gavin, you don't understand me, but I don't blame you. With that, Gavin shook his head, sighed, and walked out of the house carrying the hamster's body. I followed Gavin out and watched him hold the body, gazing at the sky at a 45-degree angle. Gavin, are you okay? Your lies are so obvious, but I won't expose you. Did his brain break? Gavin suddenly turned, a tear dangling on his cheek as he looked at me. The greatest regret is that I was waiting for you, but you loved someone else. Gavin shot to his feet and looked at me with deep emotion. Do you know what unrequited love feels like? This was too awkward. I couldn't take it anymore. I slapped Gavin across the face. Gavin was stunned. I dug a hole, he buried the hamster. The two of us worked with high efficiency. He was sad, he was emo, but what did that have to do with me? Time for breakfast. Gavin still hadn't recovered from the news of his hamster's death. He even lacked interest in his work. I nibbled on my toast and secretly asked my conscience if I should go buy him a new one. My conscience said, yes. Gavin's eyes were empty and lifeless. I shook my head helplessly. After breakfast, Gavin hadn't even finished a single piece of toast. I patted his shoulder. My condolences. I grabbed my phone and rushed out to buy Gavin a new hamster. After a painstaking search, I finally found one of the same breed and color as Gavin's. I hurried back to the house. Inside, Gavin was eating hot pot. I froze on the spot, my voice trembling as I asked him, "What are you eating?" "Dog meat hot pot. Want some?" I froze. Cuties. Gavin popped a piece of meat into his mouth. Gavin. Did you really eat, cutie? Gavin just smiled, didn't say a word, and ate another piece. You really, truly ate, cutie? Gavin sighed contentedly. So delicious, Fiona. Want a bite? If you expect me to coddle you tomorrow, you've got another thing coming. I slammed the new hamster down on the table and stomped back to my room. Gavin grabbed the hamster and chased after me. Hey, Fiona, let me explain. I sat on the bed, looking for something to take my anger out on. Gavin chased me into my room and pulled out his phone. Look, which dog is this? Gavin turned his head away, feigning anger. Cutie. Didn't you eat him? I exclaimed in surprise. Gavin snorted. Am I that kind of person? I sent him over to your brother's place. Crap, I had no ground to stand on. I looked at Gavin guiltily. You don't have to be mad. I knew you wouldn't believe me. You're yelling at me? You're actually yelling at me? I stared at Gavin with wide eyes. Gavin's lips tightened. I'm not. All right, I don't need your fake sincerity. Take your hamster and get out. Gavin looked hurt. Oh. It was the holidays, and no matter how much Gavin and I fought and tormented each other, we still had to pretend to be a happy couple in front of other people. Gavin and I agreed to visit his grandma first, then my parents. Gavin looked at my stomach. 3 months now. Shouldn't you wear something warmer? I rolled my eyes at him. 3 months. And I've told you a million times, it's your baby. Gavin leaned against the doorframe, a smirk on his face. Then how come I don't remember? I pouted. Because that night. You were drunk. Gavin looked horrified. Holy crap, Fiona, TSK. Taking advantage of me when I was down. I never thought my dashing good looks. What kind of nonsense are you talking? I was drunk too that night, so stop being so narcissistic. Let's just go to Grandma's. I tried to change the subject. Fiona, you're married and still thinking about other men? The baby is yours, so be grateful for that. Nothing else matters, right? I put on my shoes and quickly slipped away from under Gavin's nose. Snow was falling heavily outside. I stood by the car, waiting for Gavin to come and drive. After about 10 minutes, Gavin finally sauntered over. Gavin, what are you doing? I'm freezing. HSS. I yelled at him, annoyed. Gavin dangled the keys, moving at a turtle's pace. Watching Gavin's deliberate slowness, I suddenly didn't feel cold anymore. I dropped my arms from rubbing them and stared daggers at him. By the time Gavin got to the car to unlock it, I was tilting my head and squinting, my death stare fixed on him. Gavin shivered under my gaze. Fiona, you're a little scary. I just kept staring. Pregnant. Woman. Hormones. Seeing that my expression wasn't going to change, Gavin quickly apologized. I'm sorry, Fiona, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have deliberately dragged my feet and made you stand in the cold. Also, don't tell Grandma. She'll kill me. I kept staring. For God's sake, do you want me to get on my knees? I pulled my phone out of my bag with a huge smile. Go ahead. Gavin suddenly stood up straight. Who the hell is gonna kneel for you? Get in the car. He pushed me into the passenger seat. Gavin sat down in the driver's seat, whistling. I shot him a resentful look. I'm telling Grandma. Gavin glanced at me and mimicked my voice sarcastically, I'm telling Grandma. I was furious. Gavin, you just wait. Gavin raised an eyebrow. Fine, I'll wait. I took out my phone to video call his grandma. Gavin, quick as a flash, snatched it from my hands and threw it out the window. I glared at Gavin. He just gave me a smug smile. I pulled another phone out of my bag. That was your phone. The smile vanished from Gavin's face, then he burst out laughing. I knew you'd pull a stunt like this. I anticipated your anticipation. I shrugged. That one had your summer beach bod photos on it. And more importantly, no password. Whatever, it's gone. It's not like I'm short one phone. Gavin froze. Fiona, you win. I surrender. He opened the car door and started scrambling around in the snow. I was bluffing. I jumped from the passenger seat to the driver's seat and slammed on the gas, peeling out of the neighborhood. Sucking on a lollipop, I heard Gavin's helpless shouts behind me. Holy crap, Fiona, wait for me. I stuck my hand out the window and flipped him the bird. See ya. When I got to the family estate, I saw the style wasn't extravagant like our house, but tastefully elegant. I liked this style. I'll have to buy a new place and decorate it just like this. I got out of the car. Grandma came to greet me with her cane. She didn't see Gavin and asked, My dear girl, you're here. Where's Gavin? I replied without batting an eye, Gavin had some kind of fit on the way here. Said he wanted to feel the loneliness of the snow falling on him. Grandma frowned. Gavin was like that when he was little, too. Always having fits. And he'd have them in the middle of the night, right next to my bed. I thought a ghost had come to take my soul. I wholeheartedly agreed with Grandma and nodded sincerely. Before long, Gavin pulled up in a car. The two of us remained silent until dinner. Grandma was very enthusiastic, constantly putting food on my plate. I felt a bit helpless. Grandma, that's enough, really. You should eat too. As I ate quietly, Gavin scooted his chair closer to me and whispered, Fiona, you just wait. When we get home, if I don't kill you, I'll take your last name. I whispered back, Gavin, you can't beat me. In Grandma's eyes, our secret battle looked like we were being lovey-dovey. She nodded in satisfaction. Our actions of pinching each other's thighs made Grandma's eyes crinkle with laughter. Grandma nodded in satisfaction again, then took both of our hands. Your grandma has watched you two grow up, watched you get married, and watched you be so in love. Even if I were to die now, I could rest in peace. I held Grandma's hand. Grandma, don't say that. I think of you as my own grandma. You'll live a long and healthy life. Gavin chimed in beside me, but he only used one hand. The other was still secretly pinching me. The pain was excruciating. Gavin whispered in my ear, your own grandma, your own grandma, your own grandma. Fine, I'll endure it. After dinner, Grandma walked us out. I gleefully got into the car with 2 sets of keys. Don't ask. Let's just say I swiped Gavin's. Without his keys, how would he get back? Heh, that's what he gets for pinching me. After locking the doors, I yelled to Gavin, who was frantically searching for his keys. Gavin, holy crap, Fiona, give them back. I flipped him the bird and said sarcastically, why don't you go tell Grandma? Every muscle in my face was in on the act. I mercilessly stomped on the gas and drove away. My parents didn't live in an old family estate like Grandma's, but in a huge single-story home. Yes, a ranch-style house. My brother, Ryan, was waiting for me with Cutie on a leash, a huge smile on his face. He looked behind me. Where's that punk Gavin? I knelt down to hug Cutie and blinked. Gavin who? I don't know anyone by that name. Hearing my answer, Ryan's grin stretched from ear to ear. That's right, that's right. You don't know any Gavin. You don't know him. Ryan and I walked into the house side by side. My parents saw me and asked, Fiona, where's Gavin? Ryan beat me to it. Fiona doesn't know any Gavin, Mom and Dad. Stop making things up. My dad was not pleased. Nonsense. Fiona, how could you? How could you? My dad was so agitated he started scratching his head. This was an arranged marriage, by our command. How can you be so reckless? Besides, who is more suitable for you than Gavin? My mom chimed in, that's right, Fiona. Even though it was a business alliance, your father and I carefully chose Gavin. He grew up with you, and he told us he would take good care of you. I had a feeling my mom didn't even believe her own words. Heh. Ouch. That pinch really hurt. Just as my mom finished speaking, Gavin walked in. Hi, Mom and Dad. Sorry I'm late. After he spoke, Ryan gave him a disgusted look. Well. Acting like this is your house already? Our Fiona doesn't know you. Get lost. Gavin kept a smile on his face. I'm sorry, bro. Ryan glanced outside. TSK. When did you get so poor you have to take the bus? I knew Fiona wouldn't have a good life with you, Ryan sneered at Gavin. I was delighted to see Gavin squirm. If this were a fantasy novel, I would have been so happy I'd have ascended to godhood on the spot. My dad couldn't take it anymore and spoke up. Ryan, don't talk to Gavin like that. You'll give him an inferiority complex. I wanted to laugh. My dad's attempt at comforting him was worse than saying nothing. The whole dinner, Gavin ate on edge. The moment we got home, he started throwing a fit. Fiona, make it clear. Your brother did that on purpose, right? The minute I step into your family's house, I get grief. Your brother did that intentionally, right? You all ganged up on me to put me in my place. Fiona, say something. Are you even a man? Gavin fell silent. Wow, he really memorized those lines he found online. I put on a fake smile, patting Gavin's head while driving. All right. Let's not fight, okay? Gavin pursed his lips. Suddenly I realized something was off. Our roles were reversed. Gavin and I looked at each other and quickly switched places. Gavin drove while I scrolled through TikTok. Suddenly, my brother called. Hey, Ryan. A voice came from the other end. Fiona, I told Mom and Dad it was a mistake to marry you off to Gavin. Wouldn't it be better if I took care of you? Also, Fiona, I'm transferring some money to your account. If it's not enough, just ask for more. Don't let Gavin mistreat you, okay? Okay, Ryan. Gotta go, bye. I hung up. Gavin pouted and then said sarcastically, if it's not enough, just ask for more. Don't let Gavin mistreat you. Who pays attention to a crazy person? Anyone? I must have been blind to fall for him back then. I regret it so much. But it's too late for regrets now. Gavin, stop being crazy. I'm a little tired. Will you keep me company? I blinked at Gavin. Gavin frowned. Fiona, you really must be delirious from sleepiness. I'd spent the whole day running around and scheming with Gavin. I was exhausted. Before Gavin could even get close, I had fallen fast asleep. I tried to say something, but it came out as just a few soft murmurs. In the haze of sleep, I felt someone carry me out of the car. Hey, Fiona. Can't you just sleep in the house? You're so heavy. The next morning, I woke up to find Gavin sleeping next to me and was lost in thought. Gavin, did he? I nudged Gavin awake. He shot his eyes open. What? Gavin, last night, did you do anything to me? Gavin yawned. Last night, you. Then he fell back asleep. No way. Gavin wouldn't do anything to a pregnant woman, would he? I nudged Gavin awake again. Gavin, be clear. Gavin was annoyed. Fine, I'll reenact it for you. Come here. He flipped me over and pinned me down. Going to sleep. I'm dead tired. Gavin went back to sleep. Wait, that's it? I kicked Gavin off the bed. Gavin yelped in pain, clutching his back in agony. Fiona, are you trying to take me with you on your way out? Fiona, I'm really mad now. With that, he turned, scrambled up, and walked out of my bedroom. Gavin. Don't go. Come back. Come back. I screamed after him. Gavin didn't even turn his head. He snorted, flipped me the bird, and strode back to his own room. I stared at the ceiling, tears of regret streaming down my face. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Who is it? I opened the door to find a sweet, pretty girl standing outside. She saw me and frowned. Who are you? Where's Gavin? What are you doing in Gavin's house? I was making the confused black man meme face. What do you mean, what am I doing in Gavin's house? Who is this person? Could she be Gavin's little mistress? Who are you? This is my house. What do you want with Gavin? I pouted at her. She tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear and said sweetly, Me? I'm here to discuss the wedding plans with Gavin. My eyes widened. What the hell? Discussing wedding plans. That beast Gavin, a married man, was fooling around outside and even hiding his marriage? I instinctively stuck my belly out, asserting my status. Listen, kid, Gavin is already married. If you're his mistress, you should cut your losses and break up with him now. That dumbass Gavin was going to get it when he came back. The girl's eyes turned red. That's impossible. Gavin and I are getting engaged tomorrow. How could he be married? And have a pregnant? The girl couldn't go on and wiped her tears. I patted her shoulder comfortingly. Don't cry, sweetie. I had no idea Gavin was this kind of person. Sigh. I really had no idea. We'd known each other for 28 years, and I never thought Gavin could be such a beast, cheating on his wife. Unforgivable. We're getting a divorce, immediately. The girl suddenly looked up, tears shimmering in her eyes. Ma'am, please call Gavin out here. I need to ask him face to face. This girl was stubborn, just like I used to be. And hey, she kind of looked like me. Before I could call for Gavin, he heard the commotion and came downstairs. He was sleepy-eyed, with the hamster I bought him perched on his shoulder. The sight of Gavin set me off. Gavin, look what you've done. Tomorrow, no, this afternoon, we're going to City Hall. Gavin was stunned by my shouting. Then he jumped in fright. Holy crap, there are two Fionas. The girl was also confused. Gavin, why do you look so much older? I was even more confused, looking back and forth between them. Confused black man meme face. After Gavin, the girl, and I spent a long time trying to sort things out, we concluded that the girl was the 18-year-old me. Let's call her young Fiona. And I was older Fiona. It was probably some kind of time-space rift. Young Fiona had accidentally traveled to older Fiona's time. Gavin was pouting. Fiona, you didn't even know what was going on, why did you yell at me? I patted Gavin's back. Don't cry, don't cry. You don't want young Fiona to laugh at you. Young Fiona looked at us, tilted her head, and blinked her big eyes. She hadn't fully grown up yet, and her face still had a childish innocence. So cute. Will I be this happy when I marry Gavin in the future? Gavin choked. You call this happy? Young Fiona beamed. Yeah. Seeing you two so happy, I can rest assured. Young Fiona lowered her head and whispered, at least Gavin didn't end up with Sarah. Of course I knew who she was talking about. Sarah, my rival. In high school, Gavin and she were really close. Heh. The doorbell rang again. Gavin got up to open it, and I peered over to see. It was a face identical to Gavin's. I cracked. Another one. Young Gavin was holding a big cake and grinning, but his smile froze when he saw older Gavin's face. When young Fiona saw young Gavin, she happily ran up and hugged him. Gavin. Boo-hoo, I don't know what happened, I just ended up here. It scared me to death. Gavin and I both cracked. If young Fiona and young Gavin couldn't go back, what were we supposed to do? Young Gavin patted young Fiona's back, comforting her softly. It's okay, we'll find a way. Young Fiona nestled in young Gavin's arms. Older Gavin and I couldn't stand to watch. I went to pull young Fiona, and he went to pull young Gavin. But they were stuck together like superglue, we couldn't separate them. I couldn't handle the scene. 18-year-old me and 18-year-old Gavin were inseparable, but 28-year-old me and 28-year-old Gavin were just making do. If it hadn't been for that one incident back then, Gavin and I probably wouldn't be like this. Sigh. No matter how much we tried to mend our crumbling relationship, we could never go back to that pure, passionate time. But hey, I'm pregnant. I can use the baby as leverage. Once he's born, Gavin won't be able to run away. Although my original plan was to have the baby in secret, then make a grand return with my genius kid to shock Gavin for the next 100 years. Gavin and I were both helpless. We had no idea when they would go back, so we had to take them in for now. Maybe one day they'd hit another time-space rift and go back. Gavin and I treated each other like ice every day, sometimes even throwing a few insults at each other. But looking at young Gavin and young Fiona, they were so precious to each other, they'd get sad if the other lost a single hair. Young Fiona couldn't open a water bottle. Gavin, honey, can you open this for me? Young Gavin looked at 18-year-old me tenderly. Of course, Fiona cat. Young Gavin couldn't open it either. He looked at 28-year-old Gavin. It's all the same person, doesn't matter who opens it. Older Gavin took the bottle without changing his expression. I can't open it either. Then, to prove his point, he twisted it a few times and showed young Gavin the red marks on his hand. Young Gavin cracked. But 18-year-old me was considerate. It's okay, Gavin. Let's eat cake instead. Young Gavin, great idea. Let's cut it together. I rolled my eyes. Young Gavin and young Fiona looked at me. What's your problem? I waved my hand. Pregnancy hormones. You guys continue. Just as young Gavin took young Fiona's hand, older Gavin made a gagging sound. Bleck. They turned their heads again to look at older Gavin. Older Gavin waved his hand. Pregnancy hormones. Young Fiona and young Gavin were lovey-dovey every day, and older Gavin and I got used to it. A week later, they suddenly asked us, we're so in love, how come you two are in a Cold War all the time? It doesn't make sense. Older Gavin sneered. You should ask Fiona. I sneered back at Gavin. How dare you ask me? Don't you know what you did? Gavin frowned. What did I do? I have no idea. I laughed dryly. Stop pretending. That love letter Sarah gave you, you kept it for 8 damn years. Gavin got angry. What Sarah? I don't even know her. But you've kept that photo of you and your senior class president until now. I felt a little guilty, my confidence faltering. But that was a photo of me and Gavin after high school graduation. I even had it specially printed. How did he only see the class president? Besides, I only ever said one sentence to that guy. Young Fiona also rubbed her nose guiltily, then said to young Gavin, You don't know Sarah either? Young Gavin said, I don't know her. 18-year-old Gavin said to 18-year-old Fiona, We can't be like them in the future, okay? If something's wrong, we just say it. This whole argument has dragged on for 10,000 words. Young Fiona nodded in vigorous agreement. Young Gavin asked, What's the deal with that class president? Young Fiona took a photo out of her pocket, grinning. I happen to have it with me. Look, this is you. You didn't want to take a picture, so I took one secretly. Hee hee. Young Gavin pouted. Fiona. Rip it up. It's so ugly. Older Gavin and I looked at them, both feeling a little guilty. So what? A misunderstanding that lasted for years could have been solved with a single sentence. But I couldn't lose the argument. So, you don't know Sarah, but how did her love letter end up with you? I stared at Gavin with wide eyes. He shook his head. I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter anymore. Young Fiona suddenly screamed. Ah! My hand. Older Gavin and I both looked at 18-year-old Fiona. Her hand was slowly disappearing. Then her arm, her head, and then her whole body vanished. Young Gavin and older Gavin stared at each other, then young Gavin smiled. I get it now, the reason Fiona and I came here. Bye. I waved goodbye to young Gavin. Suddenly, a flood of memories entered my mind, along with the story of how my 18-year-old self and Gavin disappeared for 7 days. Gavin and I looked at each other and smiled. We understood each other. After all, we'd known each other for 28 years. Gavin's epilogue. As the saying goes, a man 3 drinks in can act well enough to make you cry. My wife of 28 years suddenly started giving me the cold shoulder, posting emo quotes on her social feed, and even threatened to divorce me. To this day, I still don't understand why she wants a divorce. So, one night, I secretly poured Fiona a little wine. After 28 years, I know her habits. 1 drop of alcohol and she's out. I was planning to get the truth out of her, but who knew that in the middle of my interrogation, she'd suddenly drag me into the car. The result was, Fiona got pregnant, and she didn't want me to know. Knowing Fiona's thought process, I could figure it out with my eyes closed. She was definitely determined to divorce me, then run off with the baby, only to make a powerful comeback 5 years later. Could I let that happen? My wife was already ignoring me. After 5 years, she might as well just cut my tongue out. I was thinking about all this, distracted. But today, things took a turn. I noticed Fiona being sneaky. I quietly followed her and saw she had a pregnancy test. I rushed back to the house before she returned and pretended to be working. Then I saw Fiona throw out the trash after doing her business. After she came back in, I hurried to dig through the trash can. Ah, found it. I secretly pocketed it. On the day of the divorce, I sneakily tucked the pregnancy test into her coat pocket. In a way that it was practically falling out. And during the paperwork, it successfully fell out. Seeing Fiona's confused look, I went all in. I threw a tantrum and managed to keep Fiona from divorcing me. Fiona dragged me back home. I played dumb and refused to acknowledge the baby. Fiona couldn't take it and knocked me half dead with a 10-pound sword. Heh. Fiona, don't you know that if you keep treating me like this, you're bound to get cheated on. At the hospital, Fiona was peeling an apple for me. I'll forgive her this time. And then, I was so mad. Fiona brought up divorce again. I threatened her with money. If I really threatened her with money, her brother would probably beat me half to death. Boo-hoo. Back home, Fiona asked me if I would acknowledge the baby or not. My attitude was the same, no. Fiona went out to find a dog. Boo-hoo, I should have just admitted it. The result of that thought was that I almost got mauled to death by a dog. But, I'll forgive her since she made me chicken soup with her own hands. I watched this damn woman get all lovey-dovey with that dog every day, and I got jealous, so I went to the city and bought a hamster. So cute, much cuter than that stupid dog. What I didn't expect was that the dog would kill my hamster. The heartbreak, the eternal pain, boo-hoo. To get revenge on that stupid dog, I sent it to Ryan's place. And bought hot pot to eat. I was planning to piss Fiona off, but I didn't expect her conscience to be so big. I feel so guilty. I'm so horrible. During the holidays, I finally acknowledged the baby. I felt that if I kept denying it, I'd never be able to claim him. But Fiona didn't bring up divorce. Was she moved by my love? Damn, Fiona is so damn infuriating. She really knows how to piss a person off. Thinking about another man while we were being intimate? It must have been her senior class president. I accidentally found a picture of her with that damn class president, and the next day she started giving me the cold shoulder. What a bad woman, boo-hoo. That idiot Fiona actually took summer beach bod photos of me. She must have a death wish. I glared at Fiona and went downstairs to find my summer beach bod photos. As soon as I got the phone, I realized it had a password, and Fiona had already driven off. If I don't kill Fiona, my last name isn't Sheen. Ugh, I forgot the house keys. Now I have to call a locksmith. Ugh, I got a speeding ticket and was threatened by a terrorist while eating. What does it feel like to pinch each other's thighs with a terrorist? It hurts like hell. To get back at me, Fiona took my keys. I really cracked. I had no choice but to get on a bus. I knew my brother-in-law would make fun of me. I'm immune to it now. Just because I bit him when I was 1 year old, does he have to hold a grudge? But still, I got to hold my wife. When Fiona was sleeping, she held my hand tightly and wouldn't let me go. I have reason to suspect she did it on purpose. Trying to make me die from sleep deprivation so she could successfully get a divorce. I finally managed to free my hand, but Fiona suddenly yanked it, almost making me hit the wall. Luckily, I was only pulled into the bed. It's not like I wanted to get in. She pulled me in, so I reluctantly went to sleep. The next morning, Fiona acted like she didn't know me. She slept like a log last night. What does she know? I was going to mess with her, but my eyelids wouldn't cooperate. TSK. Hearing a noise downstairs, I went down and saw 2 Fionas. I was a bit stunned. Seriously, confused black man meme face? I didn't expect that just as 18-year-old Fiona finished introducing herself, 18-year-old Gavin would follow. Talk about an eye-opener. Young Gavin and young Fiona were all over each other. I couldn't stand it. I really couldn't believe Fiona and I were like that at 18. So embarrassing. But I don't feel embarrassed. I want to kiss my wife. Young Gavin and young Fiona came to ask Fiona and me why we were giving each other the cold shoulder. I was at a loss for words. I didn't want to. One day my wife was calling me honey, and the next she was giving me the silent treatment. What could I do? I even tried self-harm, and she didn't even bat an eye. Later, our attitude shifted to mutual destruction. Lovers of the past. Wrong script. I didn't expect Fiona to bring up some Sarah. I was so mad. When you can't win an argument, you just make stuff up, right? I immediately brought up the class president to shut her down. Seeing her guilty expression, I knew I'd hit the mark. Then I heard young Fiona say she didn't actually know that class president and that the picture was of me. Boo-hoo, so touching. The misunderstanding was cleared up, and our 18-year-old selves disappeared. I thought that once the misunderstanding was cleared up, my wife would change back, but she was still acting half dead. Arg, that damn Fiona. My wife is 9 months pregnant now, almost due. I'm still pretty scared. The day Fiona went into labor, I was pacing anxiously outside the delivery room. She was screaming her head off inside, and the more she screamed, the more anxious I got. Luckily, mother and daughter are both safe. I am incredibly relieved. When Fiona woke up, the first thing she said to me was, "You dumbass, why did I have to see your unlucky face at my happiest moment?" The baby is now 1 year old. Great. When she sees her parents fighting, she stands up and applauds. I just don't get it. The misunderstanding is cleared up, but she still treats me like this. Fiona pinned me to the sofa, restraining my hands with hers. Smack. I looked up and gave Fiona a kiss. Fiona immediately blushed and slapped me hard. Shameless. Fiona, tell me, we were so lovey-dovey when we were 18, how come we're at each other's throats now? Fiona dabbed iodine on my cheek and said, we were only lovey-dovey for that 1 year. We've been fighting since we were kids. Oh.